What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and here we are with the second half of our video from Monday. So on Monday, we looked at the top 10 cards that exchanged hands the most on TCG Player last month that were over $50, and it was a really cool video. There were some amazing cards on there, and my biggest takeaway is there were 0 alt arts on there. We've been looking at the top 10 cards that exchange hands on TCG Player for, I don't know, almost 2 years now. Like, this data set comes from TCG Player. I think it's an incredible way to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the hobby at a macro level. For all of those reasons, we've looked at it, and I'm telling you, that was the first month ever, hard stop ever, that we have not seen a single Sword and Shield alt art on the list. I don't know if the tides are changing, I don't know if the winds are shifting or what, but it was really interesting to see that, and I owe you guys some data on that. Now, with that out of the way, TCG Player, for the first time ever this month, gave us 2 lists. They said, hey, these are the top 10 cards that exchanged hands the most that are over $50, and today we're going to be looking at the ones that are under $50, and I actually think that's really cool. So the over $50 has its own kind of bucket, but in this video right here, I'll tell you, at least in the first iteration, this is the first time we've looked at them under $50, these are all driven by gameplay, and that is so incredibly cool. I love it. I think that is awesome. I've shared with you time and time again, one of the reasons I think the Pokemon hobby is so incredible is because you have the investing and collecting, you have the TCG side of things, you have the actual video games, like you have the cartoons. All of this folds in together. So yeah, it's really cool. We heavily focus on investing and collecting, but videos like this, when we see a lot of cards that are exchanging hands at an incredible rate on TCG Player because they are so playable, because they're new, because they're exciting, I think that's really relevant too. And you can let me know in the comments down below if you don't think it's relevant. So first and foremost, if you like this type of content, this kind of data-driven approach, and you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a part of the family. If you like what you see, if this is a fun video, give us a thumbs up. And as I said, if you like this video, if this is the type of content you'd like to see every single month, this under $50 view, I'm happy to do it. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, as I said, remember, these are all cards that are pretty much driven by playability. So you're not going to see a lot of high dollar cards, but you are going to see a lot of cards that are making a big impact, and that's what gets me so excited. So let's get into them right now and start off with number 10. Now, let me say this about A-Specs. A-Specs are absolute stunning. Like, at this point, I'm sure everybody watching this video has pulled them from a pack, and I know that you can only use 1 per deck, and I know that there are some that absolutely are game changers, and there are some that are kind of like, meh. But somebody like me who doesn't play the game, when I just look at these cards, I'm like, man, I love the colors, I love the artwork, I love the shine, I love everything about it. So A-Specs are really cool in my mind. Now, you have the Legacy Energy, which is obviously comes out of Twilight Masquerade, and obviously a lot of people are picking it up to try and get it in their decks to see the best way that they can play it. And I think this is a really cool card. And the fact that, you know, it's at $4 right now, obviously it started off way high, irrationally high. If you look at that, there were sales in the $40, $30, $20 range, heck, all the way down. And now it is flatlined out at $4. So one of the biggest takeaways from slide number 1 right here is, listen, if you need a card, I understand if you got a big tournament coming up, or if you just want to really kick your friends' butts earlier, you want to make a play on something like this. But man, you can wait, and a lot of these cards that are super playable beyond the alt arts, beyond the special illustration rares and all of that, they do have a tendency to come down pretty quickly. So this Legacy Energy coming in at number 10, lots of lessons to take away from this one right here. Now, the next card right here, Iron Thorns EX, another card that saw a lot of support there at that $5 range, right? Like, this card was at $5, it was really playable, and then it kind of fell off a cliff. This card is now going for $1.34, but it is exchanging hands a lot. There's still a lot of excitement around this. There's still a lot of people who are interested in it, okay? And then again, on the left-hand side, what that graph is, that's the graph of the booster box that it comes out of. So I always make sure that I don't just include the graph of the singles cards. I like to include the graph of, if it's a card like this and it comes out of a booster box price is there. If it's a card that's only available in a specialty set, I include the PC ETB price right there. But again, another lesson, just like in the last video, or in the last slide, is look, number 10, we saw that card drop dramatically in price. And here, if you look at the price of the booster boxes, as we all know, they typically drop pretty quickly after they come out. You can pick them up in the $90, $95 range, and Twilight Masquerade is no different. So this card right here came out, Steady Eddie at $5, dropped immediately to $1.34, but a lot of people still love it because a lot of people are picking it up. So interesting takeaway here on Iron Thorns EX. Next one right here, Bloodmoon Ursaluna. I feel like Bloodmoon Ursaluna is everywhere right now. It's got some amazing special arts, and I know that it's coming out in a future set as well, so I feel like Bloodmoon Ursaluna is all over the place, right? Again, another card that started off in the $16 range, dropped to the $12, $10 range. Lots of sales in that $10, $12 space, and then it started to work its way down, and now you can pick this card up for $2.22. Again, Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Love this card. I think that there's all, and believe it or not, even the art, like how fortunate are we that you can still pick up awesome artwork like this for $2.22, add it to your deck, and have the opportunity to play this awesome card. Absolutely love it. So coming in at number 8 is Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. Next one right here is Raging Bolt EX. Now, we all saw in the over $50 video how Raging Bolt EX absolutely shot up like a cannon. It was very successful in a recent Japanese tournament, so we saw Raging Bolt have a big pop in that special illustration rare variant, and I was not surprised to see that this EX variant did the same thing. It popped up like mad too. So you'll see that it went from, I don't know, like $1 card, and it popped right up to $6.54. Really interesting to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the game, because then you can identify when things like this are going to happen. So good for you, Raging Bolt EX. Love that you have a card with absolute fire artwork out there, and love that you're super playable. So excited to see this card coming in at number 7 on the list. Now, jumping in at number 6, another one that has some really cool artwork in there is the Greninja EX. This Greninja EX from Twilight Masquerade started in the $8, $9 range. Again, quickly dropped down to the $1.80, sub $2 range right here. But we all know that there is some Greninja out there. That Greninja from Twilight Masquerade, that card is absolute fire. That is one of my favorites from the set. It's too early to say how well it's going to perform in the long run, but too early to tell indicators are that the card has at least got some degree of interest in the collecting space as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these cards kind of move in parallel moving forward. So excited to see this Greninja EX coming in at number 6 on the top 10 cards that exchanged hands the most at TCG Player, under $50. Jumping into the top 5 now, we got Blissey EX. Again, this is all about Twilight Masquerade. The cards are all over this list. It is just inundated with brand new Twilight Masquerade cards. So Blissey really didn't flatten out at all. Blissey came out and has been on a downward swing. However, if you look at that price graph all the way to the right, you'll see that it is just starting to tail up. Now, when you tail up from $1.50 to $1.72, that is not exactly a big move. And again, these are not cards that I'm saying if you're not in this for the gameplay, you should not go out and buy these. I don't think that there's much upside at all, but it is really cool to see Blissey here. Love me some Blissey EX. Love to see the artwork on this card coming in at number 5. And who knows, maybe it'll pop up to a $2, $3 card. I guess we'll just have to see the way Blissey impacts the game, but cool to see this card here at number 5. Now, coming in at number 4, Teal Mask Ogerpon, right? We've talked about the playability. We talk about how it saw some success in a recent tournament. What's interesting to me is even prior to that success, we saw this card get a pretty big jump, right? It was in the $6 range, popped up to $12. It was kind of working its way back down, but then it saw success again. So now it's working its way back up to $12. Again, this is the whole reason Twilight Masquerade is out. We got cards like this in there, and it's really cool. Again, we saw another variant of this, which was on the over $50 list. So I love when we see one card on the over $50 list and then the exact same one on the under $50 list. Just different art, just different rarities. It's really cool to see them move in lockstep like we have throughout the course of this month. Coming in at number 3 right here, Earthen Vessel. Guess what? We're off the Twilight Masquerade kick. We are finally into a different set in Paradox Rift, and Earthen Vessel, obviously this trainer item card, has seen a whole lot of love here as of late. I've got the 6-month price graph blown up down there, and you will see that it has been steadily working its way up, right? The reverse holo is all the way up to $6.50. You got the regular variant, which is all the way up to almost $3. So it's been awesome to watch this card slowly rise over time. And then, like I said, on the left-hand side in that column, you can see the booster box prices, and the booster box prices for Paradox Rift have been working their way up. I mean, it was at the $90 range for quite a while, and now it's finally up to $102. I have shared with you very transparently, Paradox Rift is not my favorite set in the entire Sword or Scarlet and Violet block. It's just, I don't know, I think it lacks something. I don't know what that is. I can't quite put my finger on the pulse of it. I think that, Paldea Evolved is really fire. I think Twilight Masquerade is great. Paldean Fates, 151. I just think there's so much awesome stuff. For whatever reason, Paradox Rift just doesn't do it for me, but I am excited to see this card coming in at number 3, and I like the slow and steady growth, and I like seeing the booster box price going up too. That is good for all of us. Coming in at number 2 right here, if I could hit the button, I don't even know what this card is. right? I just Dracloak right here. It is fascinating to me. Sometimes you're gonna have that when you watch my channel. Sometimes there will be cards on this list that I know nothing about. I know enough about all of the other cards to speak somewhat intelligently to them, but my assumption is this card has found some kind of excitement because it is at number 2. This is the number 2 most exchanged card on TCG Player that is under $50. So as I always say, educate me in the comments down below. Let me know what's going on with this card. Why has it suddenly popped up at number 2? And I mean, the card, it's a sub $1 card, right? Normal cards are going for 50 cents and the reverse holo for 71. So I'm excited to get educated around this. I'm not even going to pretend like I can talk intelligently to it, but it is cool. I also like the artwork. I think that's a really fun card. So anyways, we'll jump to the number 1 card. Buddy Poffin. No surprise here. This card is obviously one. We saw the gold variant in the over $50 video. Here's the regular variant right here. Again, a really approachable card from a price point perspective. Normals are going for $1.54. Reverse holos are going for $3. One of the things I love so much about the Pokemon hobby is this. You have the opportunity, if you really wanted to, you can go out and buy one of these that is going for, I don't know, I think $70 now. The gold variant, right? The super rare version. Or you can buy this one and you can get the exact same gameplay effect. I love the fact that Pokemon doesn't just kind of keyhole their most expensive cards to have certain abilities or actions or playability specs. You know, I love the fact that you can buy a dollar card that has the exact same effect as a $50 card. And I think that makes this hobby very special. I think that's what makes this hobby very exciting. And it is one of the infinite number of reasons why I love this hobby so much. I am excited to do this video again next month, but I am interested in what you all think. Did you find value in this content? It is not what we typically do. I know that we typically do investing and collecting, and I would say that none of these cards on this list are true investment or collecting cards, but it is information, it is impactful to the hobby, so if you like it, let me know and I will continue to do it moving forward. I hope you had an epic one, and if you enjoyed the content, hit the subscribe button. If you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, drop them down below. I appreciate you all so much. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.